I've been following you for years, since you were a photographer. My best friend is a photographer, and she just was obsessed with your photos and everything. So it's so nice to like finally,
Ah,
I
this
feel
makes
like
me
I've
so
been on your
happy.
journey this whole time. So
Full circle moment. Wow. Thank
yeah,
you. Thank you
that's
for
true.
that. Thank you.
So how's your day been going? Tell me a little bit about what's going on in your world.
So I try to keep my meetings to 2 days a week, or outward facing meetings for 2 days a week. And so today has been a day full of meetings, but a lot of creativity and a lot of thinking about business in new ways. And it always lights me up. And then, it's always the night that I sleep the most because my brain is firing, thinking of like, and what about this? And what about this carryover? And like, so my brain is in overdrive on days like today, but I love it. I love it.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, let me tell you a little bit about me and the Broad Network and the Wealthy Women Summit. So I'm originally a public school teacher way back in the day, and started a network for entrepreneurs because we all as teachers have to get very scrappy and would come up with innovative ideas to create side hustles and everything, but there was no community that came with it. So I founded Bra with the idea that it's something we all have in common. It lifts and supports, and that's what we were all looking for. And it's an acronym, so it stands for Business Relationship Alliance.
I love it. I
And
love it.
it's very punny and it's bright and bold and really feminine. But in those discussions, money always kept coming up. What to charge, how to scale. Nobody's going to pay this. A lot of self-doubt, a lot of imposter syndrome. So I did research on like, okay, where are all the women talking about money at? And there wasn't anything, a conference or a setting that was just
Wow.
specifically for women dealing with wealth. Once you have the money, what do we do with it? Do we just stick it in a 401k? Do we reinvest it in our business? Like
I
it,
love it.
there were so many
I love
questions.
it.
So the other thing I recognized is that wealth can look so many different ways, right? It doesn't always have to look like how much money you have in your bank account. You could be wealthy in family, wealthy in faith, wealthy in community, wealthy in so many different ways, but we don't equate it that way. We think, oh, I'm lacking because I didn't make those 6 figures I said I would this month. But meanwhile, I'm wealthy in my family. I have a husband who supports me and wonderful kids, parents. But we didn't recognize it as that. So last year, we completely rearranged the idea of what wealth meant. We of course had the programming that had to do with scaling, investing, pitching yourself for VC, getting funding. But then we also had the wellness component, of talking about like, how do you grow wealth in your heart? How do you open yourself up for being more wealthy in community, wealthy in whatever the aspect of life is that you want to increase your wealth in? And it just kind of grew from there. Since then, we've had so many great connections that have happened with the female funders who are investing in female founders, because women don't get a lot of investment money. But that they're also specifically looking for minority women, right? And they would come to me and be like, who did you meet at that conference? I've got a great brand that's looking to pitch. So the connection between everyone just kept spiraling. Last year, our keynote speaker was Rachel Rogers, and Arlen Hamilton, who talks about venture capital.
Yep.
Rachel talks about scaling, like how to really get that to that $1 million. So here we are, year 2. You're someone that I've always admired, always looked up to, and always felt you were always polished, professional, but poised. And the persona you give, and it seems so natural to you. It's very approachable. It's very friendly. And it's just like, this is a person who is wealthy in so many ways. And you show that wealth in your family, wealth in your faith, wealth in so many other ways. And I was like, this is the person we need.
Puts a little, thank you. Thank you. Because you know what? Sometimes it is the truth. And then we need to be reminded of that truth. And so on this day where I feel like, oh, I'm doing all these things, and I'm like, no. My husband, before this call, he set up an inflatable pool, like, Target, $10. Yeah. And he took a picture of our daughter. And I texted him and I said, we're the richest in the land. And like, I said it, but I'm like, oh, no. This is it. That's wealth. That's wealth. And so thank you for the reminder. I know I'm going to be right at home with this amazing group. So thank you, Carrie. Thank you.
So glad to hear that, so I guess, and how would you describe what wealth is to you? Because that's definitely something we're going to want to hear. Like, where do you feel you're the most wealthy right now?
The word wealth is in the exact derivative of Latin would be wellness of mind. Wealth is wellness of mind. And I think that when I heard that, it was such a truth with a capital T for me, that wealth is wellness of mind. And in that wellness of mind, knowing that financially you are taken care of, and health you are taken care of, in family, relationships, community, friendships, team building is taken care of. That is what puts your mind in a very healthy place. And so in the terms of wealth, is wellness of mind. And I think over the years, what people have seen is there's been this expansion of wealth in my life. And it's a direct correlation to the amount of care and concern I have put back into my mind.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. What along your journey did you struggle with to get to where you are today?
Oh, being enough.
Mm.
Being enough. So, and I can distinctly remember the moment that it happened, because I felt, and at the risk of sounding super woo woo, I felt like I had a physical energetic shift, and not like in the woo woo way, but quite literally my body took a different shape. So I was going in and I had paid to do a 1-day workshop in Boulder, Colorado. And my husband and I, this was back, goodness, like maybe 2017, 2018. And I'm really trying to define what I want my brand to be about. So I think I'm going to Boulder to meet with a consultant about brand, but her methodology is to really get to know you. And it's not, I could say I'm really about X. And if I'm not really about it at my core, people are going to smell it. And so what she wants to do is really leverage, like, who are you as a human? And so I did a whole day of, unbeknownst to me, with some deep dive therapy. And we did some deep breathing, and we did, meditations. And what comes up for me is me in tears. And I'm saying, oh, I teach people about how to change their lives, because for so long I didn't feel like I was enough. And I said, I have to teach the thing I have struggled with. And I left the office and everything was great. And my husband and I walk, and I went back and I said, I think I'm so sorry. And I don't take naps. I told him, I'm like, I'm not feeling well. And I said, I feel like I have jet lag. And I thought, oh, it's like maybe the altitude, even though Boulder's not all that high. So I woke up the following morning, and my husband said that he tried waking me up, and I told him I can't. So I slept, I don't know, probably 16 hours, and I woke up the next day. I literally felt like I had jet lag. I had some coffee. I went back and I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I felt like I understood myself in a new way. And so the thing I had to change was understanding that me by myself, proverbially like open and naked to the world, was just enough. I didn't need to be, and I didn't need to act, and I didn't need to have anything I didn't already have within me. And I was like, I could say that to people. And I think that was the first time that I felt a big energetic shift in my life.
Wow, I love that. What inspires you to keep going, to get up every day, to keep moving, to keep inspiring other people? Like, who inspires you?
I debated. I was like, man, does this sound like super cheesy? And it probably is, but I'm like, well, if it's cheesy, at least it's my truth. The person who inspires me is the person or the version I was 5 or 6 years ago, because it is still very difficult today to run my business. I think this morning, I just candidly expressed to my husband, I'm like, I feel like I'm being pulled in so many different directions. And with diluted focus, you get diluted results. So what I need to do is I need to cut back in my life. So that was my big thing today. But that is a different set of trials and tribulations that I was facing 6 years ago. So the reason I wake up is simply to serve a former version of myself, because I say, I know how hard it is. And let me tell you, it's still hard in the other end, but it's hard and there's a lot more money. So you get to go on nice vacations, and you get to just have a facial in the middle of the day. It's like, so I think to myself, the person who's so inspiring is the person who chooses to get up again and again when life is harder and when growing a business is harder. So what inspires me, that person. And that's why I create for her.
Love that. So Jasmine 5 years ago. Love that. What was she wearing? No, I'm kidding.
Probably the same thing. It's like a tank top and like sweatpants down below. Yeah, probably the same thing.
I love it. I love it. Now, our audience does have a lot of new entrepreneurs, new to entrepreneurship, maybe making the change from after 20 years of corporate into, following their dream of opening a bakery. We get a lot of those members at BRA. I'm wondering what advice you would give them as someone who's starting out, whether it's something like, don't do this, don't hire a PR, or, like what's something like real takeaway that you could say, do this, but not this.
I had just this conversation today is, it's tempting as business owners to think that when we ask a question, we're asking a question in space and time. But if I were to look back, I understand that there are different questions. There are what I believe 3 phases in asking questions where your business is. Phase number 1 is foundation. Phase number 2 is stability, and phase number 3 is scale. And so oftentimes we feel like we should be asking and answering scale questions when we actually haven't asked enough foundation questions. So for the person who leaves corporate and is now a consultant or has their own bakery, then first we need to acknowledge like 3 main mindset components. You're not expected to know it all.
Yeah, right.
Please understand your outcome is not indicative of your capability. And then the mindset shift is it takes a lot of courage to ask these questions at this phase in a business. So once you accept that, like, I'm not supposed to have it all, everything is a test and I'm unattached, then you go into the action sets of that. Ask for feedback. In the foundation phase, which is different than the stability phase, you're asking for feedback in any way, shape, or form. Because how do you know you're making like a foundational question? It's a new offer. It's a new program. There's uncertain product market fit, and there's not really demand. So because all of these 4 things, then you should be asking advice from everybody. Now, when you're in the stability, you're asking advice from people who are paying you, because those are the people you want to serve, because that's how you want to extend your LTV. Now, once you're actually getting advice and insights, then the first thing I always say is less thinking, more doing. And then I say you should limit the amount of time that you think about your decision, because chances are you're literally shooting in the dark. You will get an answer faster having made a decision, even if you feel it's the wrong decision. So less thinking, siloed time of thinking, and then 3 actionable items every single week around the question you're asking. So if you want to build a bakery, I'm sorry, I refuse to say how many people are going to come in the door. You have no idea until you open the door. So what are your actionable items? Paint the walls, put an open sign, and get a cash register. Like, you need action items every single week to make sure that you're deploying against the foundation questions to then move you into the stability questions.
Oh, wow. That's really great. I think we get new entrepreneurs get excited by Instagram and the shiny branding.
Yes.
And like,
yes.
Yes.
I was like, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about get the doors open, like bake the cookies. Yes.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. Now, everything you're saying is going to be fantastic for your keynote. And I think for the audience, I literally want to give you autonomy. Craft, you kind of know who we are now, and you kind of get a night. We are fun. We definitely get a little cheeky because it's a fun brand. So, don't hold back, have a little fun.
I can tell. I'm going to love it.
We're going to have a great time. I do have one final question, though. It was in the notes that I gave to Donna, but I'm dying to know, if you were to have a dinner party and you could invite 3 guests, dead or alive, who would you invite and what would you serve?
Oh, I'm going to start with what I would serve. And what I would serve would be a meal that my husband cooked behind the scenes, because I think, and he cringes whenever I say this, I think he's phenomenal. His attention to detail, he's not classically trained, but it's just every detail and every nuance. And it's just, he cares about the food he puts on a plate. So if I were to serve that, I think I would impress whoever, because they taste love, like they taste it. So that's what I would serve, anything that he decided to cook that day. And who I would invite, I mean, it's very cliche, but I still own it. I swear by it. Oprah would be at this table. I don't care any which way. It would 100% be Oprah. Another person who I like deeply fondly has really impacted the way that I saw myself as an entrepreneur, and then the way that I was creating content, would be Gary Vee. People feel particular ways about him. I just felt like he entered my path at a particular time that really gave me the courage to show up in a different way. And then a third person, which again, I feel like I'm getting a lot of cliche answers, but I would love my grandmother to sit there with us. I mean, she came from Puerto Rico and she just charted her own waters. And I think that she went through like sweatshops and buses and raising children on her own. And so to sit at a table, I don't even know if she would know who Oprah was. She definitely wouldn't know who Gary Vee is, but to see her granddaughter be happy and confident, I think would be the biggest payback, that her hard work really paid off.
Yeah. And I'm sure when you become an abuelita, you would want to see the same thing for your.
Let's go, Carrie. That's That's swinging it. So you're already getting ready for La Jolla.
Yeah,
Like you're already
ready.
getting Spanglish. Let's go. Yes, Abuelita. Absolutely. I love it. Carrie.
I
Yes.
love it. Well, that I think I would have Oprah too, and I would serve enchiladas because I love enchiladas. My mom
Oh,
made
you
enchiladas.
have to. Now, do you like red or green?
I don't discriminate. I like them both.
So JD, my husband will get his own tomatillos and then he'll roast them. He lets them sit, puts them in a steam bag, peels them, makes his own tomatillos. So I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling you, he cares, Carrie. I want you to have his enchiladas. I really do.
Oh my
really
gosh. Well, I know what you're having for dinner tonight. So,
Okay.
honey, get the tomatillo out. Start
I
roasting
love it.
peppers.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Carrie, I was excited for this event. Now I'm ecstatic. I love the phone call. I love being prepared. I know this audience, and I think we're going to serve really well. Really, really, really well.
We're going to have some fun. And thank you so much I know you're busy taking the time out to chat with me, and I also give Donna my number. If anything comes up, feel free to text me. I'm really open, and as we get closer to the date, we'll send you all the details.
Sounds good.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. So
I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to giving you a hug in person. And until then, I wish you all the best. Please feel free to reach out if you need anything at all.
thank you so much, Jasmine. Enjoy those enchiladas.
Hey, I will. A little too much, unfortunately. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.